Have a local guy who was there on the phone right now with us. He's a runner and blogger known to the running community in the DFW area as Spareribs Lamothe, making his way back from the marathon this morning. And you're at the airport right now? Is he with us?
Well, we're not in flight. We're just waiting. We're waiting to take off.
Okay, waiting to take off. So tell us where you were and what was going on.
Well, here's what happened. You know, when you get late in a marathon, you lose a lot of cognitive function. You know, if runners know if somebody says to you, how fast are you going and where are you, they can't even calculate splits. So try to imagine a mile away from the finish line, all of a sudden I'm seeing all these spectators out standing in the middle of the course, and runners are running toward me, which is bizarre, and I can't figure out that something has gone wrong. And finally, I'm trying to weave around people. All I need to do is get to the finish. And finally, two runners just absolutely jumped right in front of me and said, stop, stop, you can't go any farther. The race is canceled. You're not allowed to finish. There were explosions. And so I'm not processing this very well. I thought to myself, oh, probably some smoke bomb went off. People are overreacting. You know, I don't know. I look back on it and I think how unkind that was. But that was the way we all were. We were brought to a dead stop at about 25 and a half miles, and there were literally hundreds of runners just milling around. And, of course, we have no phones, and even if we had them, there'd be no phone access. Everything was shut down. And we learned things gradually by word of mouth. What happened? What did you hear? Did the cops talk to you? Are they telling you anything? And, of course, police, as you know, don't want to divulge a lot of things, because we're still in a very dangerous situation. So eventually they moved the buses that contained all of our drop packs. Boston is a point-to-point marathon. It starts in Hopkins and it ends in Boston. So, of course, the runners drop all their personal gear into all these buses, and those buses are brought back to the finish where you pick it up again. Well, in there is your hotel key, your phone, some money, warm clothing, some water. And we're standing around and running stuff, and we're freezing. So they finally let us walk down and get the stuff on the bus, and that's when the enormity of what really happened sank in, and we forgot all about our race and began worrying about other people. Many runners went over to Massachusetts General and gave blood. So if you think about this in a broader context, you remember last year at the New York City Marathon when the marathon was canceled because of the hurricane. The runners felt wronged because the decision to cancel the marathon was made at the wrong time after people had already gone to New York. And, of course, they were very vocal about this. But yesterday, the situation was completely different. The runners realized that they were in the middle of a terrorist attack and were trying to find ways to help others, and no one thought about its race. No one talked about a PR. It was all about how sad it was for these unfortunate people.
Yeah.
But Spareribs, you were on a special mission, right? I mean, this was a very personal race to you because of a family matter, right? Weren't you there?
It was, Dana. My brother-in-law, Joe Wojcik, passed away last year from pancreatic cancer, and it was a difficult ending for him. And a long-time marathoner, he had a 34-year streak of not missing a day of running. He'd run many Bostons, and he asked his son, young Joe, and me, if you guys go back to Boston, spread my ashes over the course, would you? And at the Citgo sign where you're 1 mile out, he had said last year when we ran it, I'll be watching you there. And, of course, when my nephew and I got to the Citgo sign, it meant the world to us that spiritually he was with us. He was still alive, but we knew he was with us in his heart. And so this year, of course, it was important for me. I had a little tiny 1-inch square bag of his ashes, and I was going to distribute them there. And my wife, who normally would be at the finish line to watch me come in, went up to the Citgo sign to watch me go by and spread the ashes. And fortunately for her, she was up there and away from the review stand. And fortunately for me, I was running a very slow race because I had a different mission. And I wasn't anywhere near the finish. I was a couple of miles out when the bombs went off. So I'm a very lucky man and very fortunate that she was not around either.